Your trust in God is a direct reflection of how much you've died to your flesh. What do I mean by that? If you don't trust God, that means that you don't trust yourself. But watch this. The reason you don't trust yourself is because you're still depending on yourself. The day is never going to come where you fully trust yourself, because you're always going to be fully capable of sinning. And for as long as your trust in God is a reflection of your actions, it's never going to work. Colossians 3 directs us to put on the new self, right? In Colossians 2, he tells us not to conform to the ways of tradition, not the world, right? The word of God also tells us not conformed to the world. But in Colossians 2, Paul specifically tells us not to conform to the traditions of church culture, right? He encourages us and pushes us, nudges us to fall in love with Christ and not the church culture, right? But Colossians 3 comes back around and tells us once you do fall in love with Christ, it will be evident through you putting on the new self. Don't do the things that you used to do. Don't go back to what you used to do. Don't say the stuff you used to say. Don't be who you used to be. Don't be with who you used to be with unless they become who you're becoming. But a lot of us want to have our cake and eat it too when it comes to God. We want to worship God on Sunday, but then go back to Satan on Monday. I just got to call a spade a spade. A lot of us want to praise and worship on Thursday night, but then when Friday night comes around, we want a club. That kind of stuff doesn't work. That stuff turns into, well, dang, man, I feel like I'm trying, but God, I just can't see it. You can't see it because you won't faith it. Faith without works is dead. Faith is also the evidence and the substance of things unseen. But it's hard for you to have faith in what you don't see when you keep putting things in front of you to see. Part of having faith in the things that are unseen is having a clear conscience to where there's nothing in front of you to see. Now, there's going to be trials and times in life where God allows for things to be in front of you that you have to trust in a bigger God than a big problem, right? That's going to happen. That's inevitable. But on a day-to-day basis, your everyday faith comes from your everyday habits, not the everyday habits of good works. No. That's not what I'm saying. Your everyday habit of putting God before whatever you do. Well, your everyday habit of submitting whatever you do to God. We don't give our gifts to God, but then wonder why God won't cultivate our gifts. We don't give our mind, body, and soul to God, but then wonder why he won't change our life. God is only going to do what you allow him to. And oh, trust me, God is not a God of halfway. He didn't part half of the Red Sea. Uh-oh. How could God part the Red Sea if he didn't start in the middle? If God parted half of the Red Sea, the rest of it would have ran over. There would have never been a pathway for the Jews to walk. There would have never been a pathway for the children of Israel to walk through if he only parted one side of the Red Sea. Stop giving God one part of your life. Stop it. You have to give him everything, because the problems that you're expecting for him to part, the problems that you are expecting for him to make disappear are things that he's not calling you to go around, are things that he's not calling you to fly above, are things that he's not calling you to be under. There are things that he's calling you to walk straight down the middle of it, but you can't walk straight down the middle of it until you give the whole problem to him so he can part it. You don't see women leaving the hair salon with half of their hair done. Why? Because that's uglier than if none of it's done. What if I told you that a lukewarm lifestyle comes from halfway doing stuff? When you halfway do things, God is not approving. He does not approve of that. Give him all of your problems. Give him all of your issues, because the only way that God is going to be able to change you into who he wants you to be, the only way he's going to be able to assist you in finding the peace that surpasses all understanding, is if you give him a trust that surpasses all doubt. God bless.